mode, and that's really great. If you have a business partner, I'm sure you're all doing that anyway. And probably another really good tip is to have several small slots a day, even if they're just a snippet of time for 10 minutes, where you can just catch up on stuff that you need to do. It might be some emails, make some phone calls, or make some notes of class you've got to prepare for the next day. So that, again, that's going to be saving you time at night. You will not have to spend time when you get home from work. It's going to save you time in doing that. So it's all prepared for the next day. Preparation. I think that's really important. Are you good at that, Jean? I'm sure you are.
Yeah, I'm a great list writer and ticker, and I have little piles of paper, unfortunately, but I always keep my paper around my desk so that I know where everything is, and that makes it a lot easier for me to work my way through my schedule. And I just can't stress that the importance of having that schedule and ticking those little snippets off as you go throughout the day.
Yeah, absolutely. And those can be done, everybody, when you have got a 10-minute break between clients, perhaps if a client's running late, and you can just drop into your iPhone, into your notes section, and just put some notes down of things that you've remembered or someone that you've got to call. Any opportunity that you get like that, don't just stand around. I'm sure you don't, but don't just stand around and waste time, because time is just so precious. And as we said earlier, it's about being time rich, not time poor. So I think that's really important. And if your business is really busy, maybe it's time to hire a PA to help you with your books or prepare newsletters or anything like that. That's definitely a great time saver when time is so precious.
Yeah, and I suppose, dear Mish, it's, as a trainer, you need to know your strengths, and we're all fantastic at personal training, but I know myself, I'm absolutely hopeless working and manoeuvring my way around the computer, that I can pay someone, $45 to do a newsletter. I give them the content, and they can have the newsletter done in a third of the time that it can take me. So it's a really valuable, at the time you think, $45, it's a lot of money, I could earn that myself and I could spend the 2 hours, but you know what? Invest and get somebody to help you with some of that stuff that perhaps isn't your passion or isn't a strength of yours, but enables you to be a really successful personal trainer.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with that. And, don't be, it's like as a trainer, if someone comes to you with an injury, you're not going to make out that you know what to do. You're going to send them on to an expert. It's the same with doing your computer work. If you're not so good at that and you need help with your newsletters, if you're like me and you put your pictures in a little hickory-pickory, I have a girl that designs my newsletter. It's exactly the same thing. Send them the content and then get that done. And it looks beautiful. People love your newsletters and they look really good. I'm sure my clients are impressed. They got
it's about building a business and your brand, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I suppose that moves us to our next point, Mish, which is that we have to learn to say no as trainers. I mean, blimey, as trainers, we want to save the world. However, we really need to have a clearly defined target market that we want to work with, because while we know lots of important stuff in the industry, there will be some areas that you are really onto it, and there are other perhaps areas a little bit like the newsletter that you're not quite as good at. And so that's when you surround yourself with a network of other trainers that somebody rings me and says, Jean, I'd really like to do some bodybuilding, and I said, well, actually I've been out of the industry for a wee while now, but I know this fantastic trainer in Wellington. Her name's Mish McCormick, and I know that she's still involved in the whole bodybuilding figure thing. So it's don't be afraid to promote other trainers within your area and around the country. So the big thing there is you don't have to be able to train everybody. Sometimes you have that gut feeling, you think, I just don't know, I don't think this client and I are going to gel so well together. If you don't think so, then refer them to another trainer that you think may get on better with. What I do quite often is people will ring me or I'll speak to them, and I will refer them to 3 or 4 different trainers, and I will say, trainer 1 is really good at multi-sport and they're really technically sound. trainer 2 is once again a multi-sporter, but they like to have a little bit more fun, a little bit more relaxed in the way they train. And trainer 3 may be really, really good at cycling, but perhaps not as onto it with the swimming. So you go to this trainer for the cycling, then we can source another trainer to help you with swimming, a swim coach perhaps. So never be afraid to, refer on. But I suppose the big thing is, Mish, how do you look after you?
Yes, well, it's all about planning ahead, blocking out long weekends every 6 to 8 weeks or whatever, your own budget will allow it. I think it's really, really important, to get away from the business and, in fact, even get out of your city where there's lots of familiar faces and people that you bang into all the time from your corporate work or from your gym work or wherever. It's really, really important to have that time out. We live such fast-paced lives that we really need to learn how to slow down, something that I don't do very well. You can't keep giving out to your clients if your own tank isn't full and recharged. So that's a really, really big one. Also finding a hobby that you can immerse yourself in, or just spend some time focusing on other things apart from work, spending time with family, taking the dog for a walk, perhaps, going and doing some meditation or Tai Chi, whatever floats your boat, but it's really important to have some time out and away from the business, time where you can switch your phone off, where you can escape, basically. I think that's really important. How about you, Jane?
Yeah, well, since having my daughter 10 years ago, I really have put importance on taking time out myself. Primarily to spend time with her, but because I've taken that time out and been spending time with her, I found that when I actually step back into my business, I'm happy to be there. And, so if you can plan your holidays around the school holidays is a great time to do it, because let's face it, during the school holidays, a lot of our clients drop off because of the demands in their own families, or cancel or postpone anyway. So if you can take a week during the school holidays and every block of holidays, then, at the end of the year, you've had 4 weeks holiday and you've been fresh throughout the year. It makes a huge difference.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I'm sure that a lot of you trainers out there will find just what Jean said with your clients being away with school holidays. So, if you do have your own children, I think I agree totally with Jean, it's the most perfect time of the year to take a break and have that precious time with family. Because we work such large hours as personal trainers, we're gone early morning. Some of us are home late night, so we don't have as much time as other people have. So, taking a break when the kids are off is perfect advice. Yeah. I also think we sort of just touched on that very briefly when we're saying, if you can unplug yourself from your technology, and turn your phone off and turn your computer off. I think that's really, really important to set a time aside every day away from your cell phone, computer, the TV, radio, and just be where it's nice and quiet. It is okay not to be accessible all the time, and it allows your body and mind to be even clearer. So, we shouldn't panic at the fact that we think our client can't get hold of us. Like I try and have a rule that once Friday night comes 6 o'clock, that if a client emails me over the weekend, I now don't reply until Monday, so that my clients have gradually learned that they can't just access me in the weekend. I mean, I used to answer emails at any time, but I don't anymore. And that's a perfect example, I think, of unplugging from technology, getting away from it. If you let your clients know that you're there all the time, then sometimes that you can be taken for granted a bit, because if they eat something wrong or they want to know something about their diet, then they can just email you. But, if you set those rules down and they can't email you on the weekend, or they know they're not going to get a reply, then they still may send the email, but they know that you're not going to reply till the Monday. And that's fine. But as a trainer, that's so important. Otherwise, you're basically on call 24/7. So, you'd be better off getting outside and getting some fresh air, and again, having family time, I think, is really, really important. And weekends, not to be answering client emails. Yeah, for a moment, just stop and smell the roses, I think. I think that's really important. Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree with you there, Mish. I'm trying now to do, I think as we live within the industry, we actually get better at doing all these things, and it has taken us a while to incorporate this stuff in our own businesses, but we are doing it now, which is fantastic. And I try not to reply to emails after Saturday. But the great thing that I've done this week is I've been away on holiday, which was wonderful with my husband, and I preset all my emails to remind my clients that I was unavailable for their training session this week, because as a trainer, I try not to share lots of information about myself and what it is that I'm doing with my clients. But I wanted to remind them that I wasn't there for their training session, not that I was away for the week. And so last week I preset all my emails, and they were bouncing off because my clients were emailing me to say that they've received the email, which is fantastic. So if you get a little bit of window of time that you can perhaps, schedule in your time section to plan your confirmation emails to your clients, or the emails like I sent out to remind my clients that there was no training for their session, then most definitely do it.
Yeah. What a fantastic thing to do, Jean. That's really awesome. And going totally away from the whole burnout thing, I think that's fantastic that your clients get that when your presence isn't there. I think that's really awesome. It's just a reminder that they should be doing their training even when you're not there.
Most definitely.
I think also everybody, being grateful, have some gratitude, and know that it's okay to fail at something. So, be grateful for everything that we've got in our lives, but also know that it's okay as a trainer to do something with a client and you fail at it. So, for example, you might set a diet plan that you thought was going to be really great. The client's done it, the client's failed, or perhaps you haven't written the diet plan quite so well, and it's just all gone to custard. It's okay. You can go further and get professional advice. That's probably not such a good example to you guys, but sometimes as a trainer you'll do something and it won't work. You know what? It's okay. Just move on and try again. You don't live in a perfect world. People love honesty, and if you screw up, then say, I'm really sorry, we've got this wrong, or this isn't working, or how can we make this better? I think it's really, really important, to acknowledge that sometimes things don't always go to plan. Yeah. What do you think, Jean?
Yeah, I think it's quite important. I think as a trainer, we do things with our clients, or we for instance, I do a Biggest Loser every 3 months with my clients, and this 3 months I incorporated a fitness test in it, and so everybody gets measured on the same day. It's measured weight and fitness test all on the same day, and then we do it each month for 3 months, and I have my baseline, and then I have the end period. And one of my clients had done her measurements the week before, and so she wanted to do measurements from the week before, because she'd lost a kilo, I think, difference, which would have given her end result a much better end result.
Yes.
And the reality was her measurement needed to be at the same time as everybody else. So she was a little bit disappointed, but what I did is I redid her measurements for her so that she knew exactly where she was at the week before. So she still stayed within the Biggest Loser regime, and she wasn't the biggest loser. However, if she'd had a week's head start on everybody else, she would have been. So I just needed to explain to her that while I could understand what it is that she wanted to do, the Biggest Loser starts here and finishes here. So I think sometimes you've just got to be honest, and just if they haven't quite understood what it was that you're doing, you just need to explain it to them and just take it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I think also, Jean, learning to relax. It's hard to do when you're on edge all the time. Silence is golden when recharging. So I think finding a quiet moment. For a lot of people, sleeping happens every night, but recharging doesn't. So I always try to be in bed by 10:30. Doesn't always happen. But again, if you haven't finished what you're doing, just leave it, and you can come back to it tomorrow. it's a good idea, to perhaps have a computer cut-off time, as we like to call it in our household. Me and my partners try to both do it, to have a time that once the clock strikes 10 at the latest, the computer goes off. So just leave whatever you're doing. It can wait till tomorrow. It's like turning that phone off on the weekends and not always being available. It's not the end of the world. You've got to take care of yourself. You've got to learn to relax. Take some time before bed to write a list of what's on your mind. And then a client said to me once, actually, which I thought was fantastic, is to put all your thoughts into a big bubble, like a balloon, and as you're laying in bed, watch the balloon fade away, into the distance, and leave it until tomorrow. I think that's really cool. Or you could just lay there counting sheep. As soon as your mind goes off the sheep. Whatever works for you, but, learning to relax, I think is so important.
I think as trainers, Mish, we're so jumping from one thing to the next, and we're constantly thinking ahead that we actually find it really hard to unwind. So, I think, it's where the diaphragmatic breathing can really come into its own. Just lay down on the ground and put your hands on your belly and just, those really big, deep breaths, let the belly rise and then blow the air out and just let the belly deflate. And, a couple of things that perhaps want to try and avoid closer to bedtime is really bright lights, because it stimulates the brain. Most definitely coffee and tea. Try and not have too much of that before going to bed. I try as a rule not to have it after lunch. I'm not always successful there. But, having coffee too late in the afternoon, it's a stimulant. So for some people, it can stop you from sleeping.
Yeah. I think we should all be reading Rushing Women Syndrome by Dr. Libby Weaver. We're all probably rushing syndrome trainers.
Yep, most definitely. And you know what, I think the best thing that we can do as trainers is regularly participate in exercise. As trainers, sometimes we get too busy to look after ourselves. And, people train with us because they watch us, they see what we're doing, we inspire people with the energy that we have when we're training our other clients. They may see us out running or out cycling. And, sure, you don't have to be the best at everything. But, you're out there and you're doing it and you're giving it a go. I have a group of clients doing a 20-week challenge at the moment. And the other week, I went to the pool with them and swam 54 lengths of a 25-metre pool, because it was part of the 10 challenge that they had. And, and I made it quite clear to the girls that swimming wasn't really my thing. But, I was there with them, supporting them, and I was just swimming lengths with them. And, all the girls swam more than 54 lengths. So, you don't actually have to be the best at everything. But it is really important that you walk the talk, and more importantly, you look after yourself. So we need to set our own personal goals, and we need to feel that real sense of achievement ourselves, because then we know exactly what it is that our clients are feeling when they achieve the goals that they've achieved. And, do some other things in the industry as well. Don't just do PT. When was the last time you avoided PT? When was the last time you had a trainer? Somebody else do a bit of the thinking for you.
Yeah. And having some fun, Jean, letting your hair down, and not forgetting to laugh.
No, and laugh at yourself.
Absolutely, I'll tell you that going on. I think a good thing there is just to ask yourself, have you noticed that you laugh less now than you used to? It's a really good question to just stop and ask yourself. Have you noticed that you laugh less now than you used to?
Yeah. So I suppose to play the PT game successfully, there are a few things that we really need to make sure we're doing really well, and our time management is probably the most important thing, because time is the most valuable thing that you own, that we own, Mish. It's you and me and the rest of the PTs out there, and we also need to learn to say no. No, I'm not going to train you on a Sunday morning at 7 o'clock. Why would you? Unless, of course, that's the time that you want to be training people. So you learn to say no. One of the most important things is we need to look after ourselves. You need to look after yourself, Mish.
Yes.
And we need to unplug from the technology, Mish, but you and I, we both need a little bit of help with technology, don't we?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And also, to be grateful. We talked a little bit before about gratitude, and also remembering it's okay to fail, As trainers, you've been training for many years, you'll see lots of things that have worked and not worked. It's all part of the job.
Yeah. And, and on there, it's take the time to relax and have a world outside your studio or your club or your PT business. Associate with people that maybe aren't interested in what it is that you do on a day-to-day basis. So, talk to people about other stuff that's happening within the world. And I suppose one of the important things that keeps us stimulated mentally is to be physically active ourselves. Because if we run out of time, it's our own activity that stops.
Yeah, absolutely. Spot on. Perfect. Well, I think that sums up, Jean, our 6 top tips to avoid burnout. And if there's any questions out there that everybody has, please just email them through.
Excellent. So
I was just going to say there are presenters' details, Mish and mine. If anybody would like to contact us, we're more than happy to assist you in any way. And if we can't answer your questions, we've got our other members of the Personal Training Council that can help you.
Yeah.
Excellent. So we've got some questions coming in now. I'm going to start the ball rolling. Thank you so much to both of you for a fantastic presentation to start off with. Now, my question is in regards to the first point that you talked about time, because as you mentioned, personal trainers have a lot on their plate. I was wondering if you could give us just a couple of quick tips, maybe 1 or 2 tips on how best to prioritise, so how to rank what's the most important in our day.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, Chantel, what was it? How to...
Yeah, so how would you, maybe a couple of quick tips on how you would prioritise when it comes to time management, how you'd prioritise your day as a personal trainer?
Well, I would think about, so first of all, I'd be writing everything down, and I would do it in order of importance from what my clients need first of all, what my family needs, to what my clients need, and then I would be probably putting myself in last there. So, family, and then obviously your work comes first, but I'd be writing that down in order of what needs to be done during the day and then ticking those things off. I think having a to-do list certainly works perfectly for me, and it certainly feels really good to be able to tick those things off and things are done. Yeah.
Great idea.
Yeah, and I'm pretty much the same. I prioritise things I do it weekly, but I also do it daily. So I write myself a list at the start of each day or the end of the evening of things that I need to achieve, and especially things that my clients have asked for, or I've said that I will follow up and get for my clients. It may be a link for a website, or it may be an article that I've read or a book that I've talked about and I need to get the name, or it may be, the name of another trainer that may be able to assist them with the next level of their training. So I write all that down, and I always keep it by my computer. I have an office at home, and so I keep all that stuff on my desk, which is my desk. And then when I sit down at my desk, I always look at my notes, any notes that I've made on the computer, and then I tick them off. And if I don't get them done, especially stuff for clients, if I don't get them done on the day that I've said that I will get them done, I'll send them a wee email or a text and say, look, I'm really sorry, I haven't done that email yet for you today. I will get that done for you tomorrow. You'll have that by 5 o'clock, just so that they know that I haven't forgotten about them.
Yeah, absolutely. Great point, Jen. You definitely never want your clients to think you've forgotten. So even though you think, I'm going to do it tomorrow, really important to let them know that you're going to do it tomorrow. You haven't been forgotten.
Yeah. Just a quick, it doesn't need to be a lengthy one. It's just to let them know that you haven't forgotten about them.
Excellent. Great advice, guys. Thank you very much for that. Now, I want to tell you, we've got lots of thank you notes coming in for the presentation, which is lovely feedback. We don't have any other questions, so we might just finish off if you wanted to remind everyone of the details of the next upcoming webinar.
Yeah, our next upcoming webinar is on the 30th of August, Friday, at 2 p.m. again, and it'll be 30 minutes, and it is Professional Excellence as a Personal Trainer with Lauren and Cher. So we would love you to book in for that. We will send out a link via the Personal Training Facebook page and the Personal Training website. Plus, we will all put that on our own personal pages. So both Mish and I will put it on our pages. So if you go to Mish McCormick or Mish Fitness and Jean Scott for Personal Training, of course, Reps will also have the link available and we'll be advertising it. So once again, I go back to please feel free to contact myself, Jean Scott, or Mish. Our contact details are there on the PowerPoint. And of course, we have our other members of the Personal Training Council as well, which are involved in these webinars. So we have Lauren, Cher, Hilary, Dilauda, and we have our two Bens. So please feel free to go to the Personal Training Council of New Zealand Facebook page and website, and you'll be able to download the contact details for all those trainers. And failing that, you can also get those details from Reps. So if you give Charlie a call at Reps or send him an email, he'd be more than happy to share those details with you.
Yeah, and don't forget to like us, guys, on our Personal Training Council page. Don't forget to like us.
Fantastic. Well, on behalf, once again, of Personal Trainers Council of New Zealand, thank you so much to Jean and to Mish for a fantastic presentation. Thank you also to everyone that attended, and that concludes this afternoon's webinar.